Every organization runs on data, from banks to schools, hospitals, government, and businesses. Now, this is called organizational or enterprise data. What does this mean though? When we look back, and of course, considering the times that we're in, there are other organizations that are still dealing and storing their data the traditional way. The question that we are here to answer and explore is whether the traditional way of storing data is still enough in this day and age. And the answer is no. So I'm here to introduce you to the Data Center in Iraq, DC in Iraq for short. This is Think Tech Thursday. My name is Ruth Kulayisi. Welcome. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having us back.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you, Dr. Wisely. I'm very excited, of course, to jump straight into data in Iraq, DC in Iraq. What is DC in Iraq?
So, this is something that we designed. We call it data center in Iraq, but it's actually a micro data center. So most of the times when we're dealing with customers, they need to have a space where they can host their data.
Yes.
Some of them, they have to post to the cloud. Some you're not allowed to, based on the requirements of the country. So, assuming you've got this company, it might be a bank, they've got a branch somewhere, they need to create a mini data center. When you want to put a mini data center, there are so many things that you need to push in. Because remember, this is the place where you're putting your servers, your data, and servers disperse heat.
Yes.
So, in a normal design, what will be happening is they will push a small room. They will have to look at the security side of that room. So it means you have to have either biometric access or facial recognition. We're not going back, we're going forward.
I'm actually thinking, I wonder if a lot of these spaces even have that level of technology, talking about facial recognition, biometrics, when data is such a valuable resource.
Exactly. We've gone to places where you just find people have just got a key. Yes. So, ideally, you need to have those access control systems.
Yeah.
So either biometric, and maybe you should have anti-burglary door, because it's not your normal doors where someone goes in. Then you go into the actual room. You're supposed to have what we call a raised floor, so that when you're running the cable, they should be running down. Something should be looking nicer there. Then within the same, remember you're having servers. They disperse heat. They generate heat. That means you need to have cooling. So you have to have cooling, and we've gone to places across Africa where people would be putting normal air cons. We don't recommend air cons in data centers, because your air con only looks at the temperature. It will only reduce the temperature. But on servers, we need also to look at humidity. So your normal air cons, not for the data center. You can use it for your house, but not for the data center. So you look at the cooling. That's why we talk about the precision cooling, where you'll be able to push in the air that you need with the humidity that you need and control the temperatures. Then again, you having something that is generating heat. You also have to control the fire. If you've got fire in the data center, how do you know that there's fire? Early warning systems. So all those things are part of the data center. Then you also have to be able to monitor the systems. So what if you've crossed, there's no one else inside there, because the temperatures are low. So there's no one else, then something happens in. We should be able to monitor it. So we've got these small data centers where people will be putting cameras inside so that maybe you can see inside.
Cameras with bad quality also. So we are seeing, but we're not really seeing.
Yeah. So you having all those things that are defining your mini server room. But for us, we're saying, if you to do all those, how much time are you going to make? So for you to be able to purchase things like the raised floor, the actual implementation of the things. So at minimum, you'll be talking about a year of someone working on those things. Okay? Then, even at the end of the year, we go in these data centers, then you find that, but this is not the door that we should be talking about. This is not the air cons that we should be talking about. So we said, what if we would compress all these things into a rack? Because most of the places where we go, you'll be able to find that maybe people are only using 2 servers, 3 servers, and all that. So we're saying, what if we can compress into one? where we'll be able to have all these things into one single rack, and we'll be able to monitor it. And then we call it instant edge, where we're having this data processed near where it's been generated. You buy one of it, you'll be able to go with it in a single day and just plug in, the whole things are running in.
Okay.
That's what we're calling data center in a rack today.
Wow. So just maybe take me to what the traditional way is, an example, a quick one, because we did say banks, of course, are a quick one to think of. That's an easy one to look at. Hospitals, though, I know that a lot of hospitals are trying to migrate and get their systems and their information into the digital space. It's very frustrating when you go to a hospital and you still need to explain your history. You can't even go back as far as your own parents' history or your grandparents' history. So looking at medical issues already, schools, these are spaces that carry and bring in a lot of data, but they're definitely having a difficult time in really sustaining it for the next generation and generations to come as well. Just give me a bit of an overview of how we're looking now, and then we can get into this and what the solution is.
So we've gone to, in Africa, I'm not talking about Malawi, in Africa. You talk about the hospitals, nowadays we're talking about e-health.
Yeah.
We would want this data to be able to be processed where it's being generated. So let's look at an example in Malawi. You've got maybe one of the bigger hospitals in Mzuzu, for example. This guy, they want to collaborate with some people at the central hospital in Branta. So in that environment, the guy that side should be able to generate all these videos, process them, and be able to send.
Yes.
Ideally, if you're having one centralized data center, what will be happening is every small data you'll be able to push to the data center, process, push it back. That one, we say there's a lot of bandwidth, there will be a lot of latency, and so many other things that come with it. So that's why I'd say we carry this to the edge where data is being generated. So the moment you bring it there, even the amount of data that will be pushing to the other side will be small because you're able to process on the other side.
Okay.
But the reason why people haven't been doing that, like the way I said, you need to prepare the whole room. You need to put all these access control. What if that data you're doing there, someone goes in tomorrow and accesses that data? So there are all those things that comes up. Then people are saying, it's better off, let me just ship this data to the other side, so that the problem should be with the other side, not me.
True.
Yeah.
So clearly it's quite the expensive move. It's a costly,
but
worthwhile move to get into data.
Exactly. So when you're doing the traditional way, it's very expensive.
Yes.
So the thing that we're doing now, we're reducing the cost of your data center from whatever cost you had to less than 10%. So we've put everything together.
Numbers. Less than 10% of the cost that one would have to host it on their own.
On their own. So remember, you're buying the raised floors. I think the next one will be able to show you the other data center that we have here.
Yes.
So you'll be able to have the raised floors. You need to have the precision cooling. You need to have all these biometric access. You need to have the fire suppression. So all the things that you need to push in. The moment you add all those, the amount is huge. So most of the companies was like, no, I don't want to go into this. Let the other guy handle it. So today we're saying we can reduce that cost and make you achieve what you'd want to achieve.
Okay. So yes, let's get into it.
So remember I said in a data center, you've got a number of things inside. I think one thing that I didn't talk about also is how you do what we call power backup. Because again, when you've got servers inside, you want, if there's a fluctuation of power, the server should not be shutting down. So we do have all those things we put within this thing that we have here. Where do I start from? First thing that I talked about was the access control. You want to go into your data center. What do you do?
Also, to clarify, this is the rack.
Yes, this is the rack. So your minimum data center, you'll be talking about maybe a room of 5 by 5 meters.
That's the minimum.
Yeah, most of the times, the places we've gone, we've seen the 5 by 5. Yeah, but we're saying whatever you're putting there, we're compressing into this guy.
Okay.
So the first thing I talked about was the access control. How do you go into your data center? So what you'll be doing now, under those circumstances, when you got this guy, you just buy this guy, bring it even at the corner of your office, and just plug in power, then you're up and running. How do you control access to this? We've put in either biometric access,
authenticating failed,
or you can use your face. You can feel a bit of the coldness in here.
I think we need to leave it here. The temperature is so good.
Yeah, so under your normal rack, you will have what we call rack units to where them slot in your servers and everything. So this is your normal 33 up to 42. So of these, remember we're pushing in a lot of things inside. So in the 42 rack, we've only left about 23 that you can put your servers. Ideally, these things will not be here. We've just added this. So if a customer is buying, you only have this. What do we have in here? The first guy is the cooling system.
Hence the whole issue about it's not an air con.
Yeah.
There's a cooling system
It's a
that
cooling system.
works within the rack. Okay.
Yeah. So this one is a precision cooling system. It pushes the cold air to the server and sucks out the hot air. So you've got the cooling system here. And again, I talked about the backup power. This is our backup power. We've got a UPS here. The one that we've used in here has got 6 kVA. We've tried it where we had put in these servers and we switched off the power. We're able to run the whole night without your normal power from the power utility.
That is impressive.
So you've got the switches here. Then from this side going up, that's where you put your servers. So all you need, you just throw in your servers, connect, and you're there up and running. Then you've got the temperature and humidity sensor up here. You've got for fire and smoke detector, this guy here.
Yes.
So if you put this thing there, and assuming there's fire, then you'll be able to control your systems. Then this whole thing, I'm able to control and manage from one panel. Because one thing that engineers are really complaining about is how do I manage so many servers that I'm having. So everything that we push in here, we just connect and you're able to manage from it.
Now, speaking about the controls, that is something that you're going to get into, right? Okay, then maybe you could tell us a bit more about controlling it from out here.
So there are some of the things that you'll be able to do. So assuming this is at the branch office,
yes,
you might still have someone at the head office that wants to be seeing what is happening at the branch office. We've got the live camera here. So that live camera, you'll be able to check from this side, wherever you are, and say in that data center, this guy is doing this. Then you're able to monitor everything from the power. You've got all the graphs here. You're able to monitor the power. You're able to get the statistics. Let me see. It will tell you which days we've been up and running, which days been down, why was it down, did someone switch it off, or it was still on. Let me see. We can go on the device information where I can check. Okay, the first one is now the camera, which I haven't joined now, but I'll be able to watch wherever I am, you guys looking at this thing. It's a live camera, wherever it is. Then I'm able to check the air conditioners. So for example, this is the temperature. The humidity is at 21%. So everything that is running within this data center, I'm able to monitor from wherever I am.
Wow. Okay, so while you are in Blanta or in Zambia, Japan, you still have access.
Exactly.
And still are able to see what's happening.
What's happening there. All we do is we configure and give access to whosoever is supposed to come in. So even the users, you need to configure to say who are the users that will be checking the things. So for example, now I've got 2 users. So again, we're trying to control that someone else that doesn't need to have the access should not be coming in and be able to check the things that are supposed to be in.
Now, maybe you could tell me a bit about the security and the safety of the data itself that you end up helping host. Is it just something that, first off, let's start with, is this going to only be at the organization or the company that's working with it, or there's an option of actually having this data stored at Sparc?
Yeah, so there are a number of options. Most of the times we sit down with the customer,
yes,
and we discuss how we're going to access this data. Then there is some discussion that goes into recovery time, recovery point objectives of the organizations. So if the customer says we only process this data at the branch, then from the branch we push this data to their head office, we're able to do that.
Okay.
Or they might say, okay, we want this to go into the Sparc data center. So we'll be able to push this data from where it's being generated into our data center here. Sometimes they might say, no, 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 from there, based on the role, I want to push this to the crowd, somewhere else outside. Either it's our crowd here or the crowd outside, we're able to do all those, depending on what the customer is looking for. Yeah.
Dr. Wisely, we spoke a bit about Sparc Systems actually having a data center, that the building hosts a data center, which is exciting. But we're also now talking about data center in Iraq. What is the difference between these two?
Okay, so Sparc data center is, in a nutshell, maybe I can say a co-location data center.
Co-location.
Yes. So when we say co-location, what we mean is you might have a customer that has got his own servers, he wants someone else to manage them. There might be issues to do with their power stabilities at their site. They don't want to invest into extra power supplies apart from your normal ESCOM power. So maybe you don't want to invest in the UPS and all that. Then there are all these, you're afraid of people that might go into you. Like I said, some of the rooms, they are using keys. So it's the security part of it.
Yes.
So all these other things, then they will say, okay, we want our servers to be hosted somewhere. Some of them will be saying, okay, we want our servers to be hosted in the cloud where they might push even to Amazon. But before we go there, you bought your servers, but you don't want those extra issues where even the guy in finance will be saying, no, I'm paying a lot in terms of the cooling, I'm paying a lot in terms of the power, your servers are running 24/7, whatever. Those ones, they bring their servers and say, you guys at Sparc, can you keep them? So we've got our own data center.
The whole server,
the whole server.
The physically, not just bringing the information, taking them, they keep the machinery, but you actually take the servers, we remove that from their spaces
and put here. Yes. So we've got those ones that they do that.
Okay.
Then we've got some that would say, I don't want to buy servers, I just want the space.
Yes.
So they would tell us, okay, I need this type of CPUs, memories, and hard disk capacity. We provision for them. So that one, we say infrastructure as a service. The first one I said co-location. The second one is infrastructure as a service.
Okay.
So meaning that you're paying us monthly, you're not buying servers. So for example, the server would have costed you 200 million, for example. Then you come to Sparc and your spec will be telling you, okay, you need to pay us 500,000 a month. So as an organization, they're moving that in the budget lines from the CapEx to OpEx. So it's no longer capital expenditure, it's operating expenditure. We've got companies that end up doing those.
So all they do is share the data that they have, but you host it.
We host them on our own servers.
Okay.
So those ones are our servers, but they're using them for their data. So we've got some that will be saying, okay, no, for us, we need even the actual software that we're using. So it might be an HR software. So they say, no, Sparc produce to us even the HR software. We don't want to buy servers. We don't want to buy the software. We just want to use it.
So you can also custom make the kind of systems that they want for HR, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
There have been a number of software that we've created for organizations. Some of them, they will say, okay, we don't want to host it. We host it. We just want to use it. So we're also able to charge them. But for this, so that's our data center that we have here. Yes. So this data center, we're even able to host data for people from outside based on their roles from those countries. But this one, what we're saying is, Rack data center, we're moving it, like I said, to the edge, to the guys that are generating the information. So those ones, there is some that will be saying, no, I want my data to sit there and I should be looking at it. Those ones, instead of them investing into the raised fund that we're saying, you just need this guy. So this one is hosted at the customer side. It's no longer coming to us.
Let's talk about data recovery now, because I think the last time we had a chat, we did say that there are other organizations that may not look to have the server itself as their main one, but as a backup in itself. Tell me a bit about that, how that works.
So in terms of the data recoveries, we do have some organizations that would be saying we already have our own data center there.
Yes.
But most of the times, I think you agree with me, we've had instances where maybe a building goes on fire. We've had this so many times across the country. The building goes on fire, but the question now is if the building goes on fire, or maybe there is an earthquake, maybe there's a bomb, wherever this is happening. How do I recover my data? Because the data is supposed to be immortal. So we are able to configure this and say whatever data is there, we replicate this data and create mirrors of that data in our data center. Meaning that in case there is a fire there, we've done this, we've done tests with some banks we've worked with, we've done tests with telcos we've worked with, where we're able to recover this data within 10 minutes. So imagine around, we always talk, I've seen it a number of times in this country where most of the times people be saying there's a network issue. And most of the times it's not a network issue. It's way they've got an issue with a server, but maybe it's easier to tell someone that it's a network issue. But if they would work with us, what would be happening is within 10 minutes, the systems would be up somewhere else. Imagine if a bank went down for the rest of the whole day. There'll be a lot of cries. RBM or the central banks would come in and penalize them. So we've been doing solutions for them to say, if you're down within 10 minutes, you'll be out and run from our data centers. You're fixing the things. So these are some of the things that we do in terms of data recoveries within the space that we operate in.
Why is this the way to go?
So, like I said, most of the companies that we go and meet, right? The issue would be in terms of the skills capacity. So they want to have these things. It's not that they don't know. They know. They want to have the things. But number one, you look at the skills capacity. If someone wants to be managing the data center, it means you need to have a security person that will be coming there and controlling the entrance itself. You need to have someone from the networking that will be able to do all this cabling. You need to have someone on the cyber security to be, nowadays there are a lot of hackers that are coming.
Yes.
So you need to have someone also maybe from the, what we call the infrastructure team, ICT infrastructure. So there are so many things. So again, when you look at it and say who takes the ownership if something goes wrong, that becomes also part of the problem. So for us, the moment we now compress and put in one, we've removed all those things, because with this, you might need to have only one person. Or even if the guard is outside, there is no technical person inside, just the guard. Wherever you are, you'll be able to monitor through the cameras there. So we've removed all the issues that you're supposed to have.
Is it scalable though?
Yes, yes it is. So this design, like I said, I've got 25 rack queues that I can put in.
Yes.
Most of the servers that nowadays have been manufactured, a server will be maybe around 1 rack queue. So meaning that I can push in up to 25. And most of the companies who've gone in, they will only use maybe 3 servers, which is 3 rack queue. But there are others, for example, the banks, the telcos, where they will need like a bit of a data center part of it. So those ones, if you need, you can decide and just maybe add more of this. So you don't need all those raised flow. You just add another one here and we can interconnect and that's done. But that job, remember on this, all we're doing is just plugging in. That job, at the end of it, we can connect this within a minute, you're up and running.
So the issue surrounding the recovery, that also comes around compliance. That's under the umbrella of compliance. So maybe we could dive into that a bit more.
Yeah, so most of the organizations, they've got the regulators that will be able to push in for the data compliance and all that. So if you look at the investment in terms of the compliance, that's where people end up jumping a bit. But some of it, like I said, in terms of supporting compliance, when you talk about the data center, you say the data has to be secure. How do you go into that data center? I've talked about biometric access and all that, which actually most of the organizations, they end up not implementing them. We're saying that is already part of the system.
Yeah.
Then again, if something happens to your data center or your data, you should be able to have the audit logs, the audit trail. So that maybe up to 7 years from now, because I've seen for the banks, we keep data for 7 years, and central banks will be talking about 12 years. So ideally, up to 7 years of the logs, we should be able to keep them. So those ones are already embedded. We already have the audit logs that you can have, the user logs that you can have. You just come in and pull and say who came into the system. Then even if you want to have your disaster recoveries, We know, for example, some of the basal requirements will be talking about have your DR about 400 kilometers away. Instead of building that big data center there, you can use this guy here. So we're doing a lot of things trying to help organizations at a fraction of the cost.
We're obviously looking at this situation, the system and the response that it's giving to the region, to the continent. But what's exciting to me is coming back to the fact that this is a Sparc Systems system.
Sparc Systems rack.
Yes.
I think I should call it a Sparc rack.
Right?
Yeah.
That does sound good. It's a Sparc rack.
Yeah, so these ones have been designed by us. We even offering support. So where we've delivered to the customer, we give them based on the requirements. The first 1 year warranty and support is free. After that year, we discuss. There are some systems that you might push in here, which we can agree on a 3 years warranty. There are some that by default will be 1 year warranty. But at the minimum, it's 1 year that will be able to support. No extra cost to you.
So the Sparc rack has support 24/7?
Yes, it's 24/7. Actually, for us, all our customers, they know we do offer support 24/7. We don't care whether it's a Sunday or it's a holiday. There will be engineers to come and support you.
We also looked at issues surrounding sovereignty and just how precious some of the information is that you get to handle, that others get to handle as well. How have you actually navigated that? How is that working?
Okay, so most of the countries, we follow what laws are in those countries. When you talk about data sovereignty, yes, with the coming of AI and all that, we want to have data that we can process and do a lot of things around them. But again, how you move data into another country depends on that country's laws.
Yeah.
So for me, if you having this thing, you're already solving part of those, because you can't come up and say, I'm not keeping my data in this country because I don't have a data center. You do have a data center. So you just have to check the law and say, what does the law say? It's actually helping us now to be able to implement the law, because we do have the capacity to do the thing that we can do.
Yeah.
So someone can't wake up and say, I don't have a data center, I don't have a server. Please come and you're getting this, and you'll be able to comply with the laws that you have in the country.
So how quick can one actually start making the move? Because as you've already said, there are others that have their data in data centers elsewhere in the cloud. But then the thought now is to say, okay, we need to own this thing and we want to host right here in Malawi. What does that look like? How quick can we make that transition?
So if someone comes and says they want to buy this thing, we should be able to give them within 2 weeks. Because again, like I said, we've got 23 rack queues that we can use in, but it depends on the customer. Most of these NGOs and the smaller companies, they only need 3 rack queues, meaning that this thing within a week you can give them and off they go. There are some that will need more, then we should be able to go within the days that I've mentioned.
Can organizations come together, like you're saying others only need 3? Can others come together and say, okay, we want to purchase one so that 3-4 organizations can actually use the one? Is that a thing?
No, so for this one, remember we're talking about edge computing. We're going to where the data is processed. So these organizations, they can have each of it.
Yes.
But in the event that they want to bring those together, then we've got the Sparc data center where we can keep those data here. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, to clarify, there's the Sparc data center, which we have here in the building.
Yes.
And then there's the rack,
the rack
that
center.
can be purchased and installed in
the customer side.
actual spaces.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, exciting news. And moving on, at the end of the day, I'd love for you to just give your last remark on this exciting move. And also just to kind of just invite everybody into this technological space and to go digital really on this level.
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of systems here. We're designing systems, we're producing systems. Like I said, we'll be showcasing the systems that we're producing. This is the second Think Thursday. And when you look at the things that we're doing, we're trying to help governments implement the law.
Yeah.
Because you can't force someone on the law where you don't have the capacity to implement what you're supposed to implement. So already these things that we're creating, we're helping governments across Africa and say, if the law says you can't move the data out, no one should be saying, no, it's because I don't have a data center. We produce something for you. So at Sparc, we keep on innovating, keep on creating solutions that are for us in Africa. Like we say, ours is IT innovation that matter, and this one matters.
Ah, come on. Yes. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you to Sparc Systems. And of course, the invitation goes beyond Malawi. It goes to Zambia, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Uganda, all across the region and across Africa. And this is the solution that you have been waiting for, and it's 100% ready and here for you as we're stepping into this new system, and that is, shall we say, the Sparc Rack, as you put it, which is also DC in Iraq, data center in Iraq. Until next time, my name is Ruth Kulaisi, looking forward to Thinking Tech the next Thursday. I see you. Have a good one.